Hello Knockouts, Tonya TKO here, and as you know I'm a self-love specialist on TonyaTko.com. I help you learn how to love yourself and each other. On this channel we talk about attracting high vibrational relationships into your life, either platonic or romantic, and using the relationship as a form of self-loving instead of self-abusing. So today, oh goodness gracious, a little bit earlier today I put up a video with Tyrese and his daughter in it, laying crotch to crotch in a photo, and we talked about whether or not that was appropriate. Then someone in the comments said that, well, first of all, there was a person by the name of Kevin Brown who was alluding to the fact that Tyrese has had past questionable behavior or indications towards his daughter. And I asked for more information, but there are a lot of comments moving by really quickly. But I caught a comment from somebody, and I'm sorry if I didn't catch your name. And she was saying that Tyrese was singing sexual healing to his daughter. And I was like, what? So I said, let me go out on the search for this. So I went searching. I couldn't find, it was hard to, but I found the video, and we're going to watch it together. All right? So, get ready for this. Just get ready. Here we go. Let's see. All right, here we go.
Post this video, just maybe my daughter would know how much I love her. Can y'all do that for me? And I'm gonna dedicate what I'm about to sing to my baby, okay? Break it down, right here. I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back in feelings for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, come on. Baby, won't you stay?
Oh, you know what? That's the only clip that I found of it. And because I listened to it for the first time with you all, I didn't realize that it was such a short clip. So, that's not sexual healing. That's, let's get it on. Oh, goodness. Okay. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts below. I don't know, because I remember when I was a little girl. Listen, when I was a little girl, there was this song on the radio called I'm working my way back to you, babe. And I remember my father had an LT, what was it, an LTD? It was like a Ford LTD. It was a big yellow Ford LTD, and this was back in the days before kids wore seatbelts and stuff. And I remember I was sitting in the middle seat. Me and my mother were cruising, and we were going to go. My father, I come from a military family, so we were driving to the base. And because my father had formation or something, he had something, I don't know, I was a little girl. And I remember I was sitting there, and I remember I was listening to that song, and I was a daddy's girl too. You know, like there are many people who were commenting on the last video I did about how they were daddy's girl. One girl was talking about how when she had chemo, she would lay on her father just like in the picture, etc. And she's like, she's 30 years old now, etc., etc. So I was a daddy's girl too. I remember when I was a little girl, my father was my sweetheart. So there would be songs that would be on the radio that were romantic songs that I would sing because the innocence of a child's mind, you know, like the songs would they just seemed to fit. And I remember when my little sister came around, right, she would sing this song. There was when she was a little girl, there was this song called Give Me Your Tasty Love, or so just give me your tasty love, something like that, right? 80s babies, right? And she used to sing this song to my mother about this tasty love and all this stuff, right? And I mean, but it's the innocence of children. And So I'm going to ask for your opinion. A father taking a song about sex and changing the lyrics around for his then 10-year-old daughter. I'm at a loss. I'm just presenting to you what it is that I am seeing. I don't I'm stumped because I know from a child's point of view, but then I don't know. This one right here, I want your point of view about it. Because like I said, I know from the children's point of view. Listen. Wow. And you know what? And I remember when I was right out of college, there was this young lady who had a daughter right around that time. I don't remember who sang this song, but the song was "Lick You From Your Head to Your Toe." Just lick you from your head to your toe, this, that, and the other. And this woman would say that her daughter would sing this song, and her daughter wouldn't think anything of it. So I mean, look, it's like we have these songs, these lyrics, and even reggae songs. When I was 13 and 14, 15 in high school, and these reggae songs would come out, flex, time to have sex, and all of this, boom, flick, pan me dick, young girl, come skin out ya, overjoy, you are the plum we wanna pick, you are the best one there about ya. There was so many songs, and then there was Lady Saw, and all of these different songs where these people were talking about, remember that song Murder, and they was like, "Roof," and all of these raunchy songs, but we were young and we didn't even think anything of it, and it was like we would parrot these lyrics. And then the crazy part about it is that we would listen to all of these sexually lyric songs, but it didn't have an impact. And I don't know if it's because these sorts of things were not, like me coming from a Caribbean background. And I know I'm going off on a tangent. Me coming from a Caribbean background, whining and the presence of sex and sexuality and genitalia and stuff like that was always around. It was always around. So like me, I didn't even share my virginity until I was nearly 20, and I was in love with the person that I shared my virginity with, and so those lyrics and the songs and the presence of sex and sexuality all around us didn't have an impact on how soon we took things to the next or the sexual level, right? It's like a child's innocence. I don't know if it's because the presence was there that we didn't. But then from the flip side, an adult using a sexually themed song to sing the melody to their child. Look, I can't call it. I'm putting it out there for you. You tell me what your point of view about it is. On YouTube, the feedback that I'm getting about the video that I put up earlier today with Tyrese in it, the feedback that I'm getting is that a lot of people are like, yeah, this is, there are people who are telling their story that even if a child may not think that something is a certain way, that it's up to the adult in a situation to be like, well, baby, maybe we got to start shifting things. There are people who are telling their stories about molestation and abuse and how things just like that in the plain eye look however it looked to people. They were like, they normalized it, but then that was a part of the grooming process, right? And then there are other people who are like, look, this is a completely innocent endeavor. They're merely spending time with one another. On Facebook, it's a whole different climate and atmosphere. I've had to block 4 people over there already because I'm getting called all types of bitches and like people are just really riled up and angry, not really listening. And people are giving their testimonial over there too about how their father molested them and he would do things like that, etc. And I'm like, when did we stop being able to have conversations about this? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe that I insulted anyone in the last video. What is it that is bringing up this ire and this desire to insult. And listen, you know, on my platform, I say attack the argument, don't attack people. My block button is strong. I'll just come out and just boop, boop, boop. I can block more profiles than you can create because it only takes a second to block one. It takes you moments to create a whole other one. You know what I mean? And then sooner or later, we're going to get attuned to what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate. I'm opening this up for a conversation. How do I feel about these lyrics? Him with this let's get it on towards his daughter. You know, I don't know. Tyrese seems like to me, he seems like he's suffering from some sort of mental health issues himself. So I don't know what's going on inside of this man's mind. I remember he was crying on the internet because he didn't have access to his daughter. But then I remember reading some reports about physical abuse, not sexual, but physical abuse towards his daughter, and his mother petitioning for a permanent ban. If there's anybody out there who has more information than I do, I'd really appreciate hearing your information so that I can look more into this. In terms of this song, you know, I think in a vacuum, you know, when things exist separately, they're, you know, whatever. But when they start to compile, you take that plus the picture plus him not respecting the boundaries of the order of protection that the woman had taken, because he'd like put banners up, like the sky banner outside of his daughter's school, violating the order of protection and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, And then you look at a picture of him and his daughter side by side, and they look almost identical, except she's lighter complected. And then you have a person like Trump who's like, oh, if she wasn't my daughter, I would date a woman who looked like her. So then you have these, I don't want to call it, but let's say just like, we have these complexes like the Greek god Narcissus, whatever his name was, Narcissus, right? Where the narcissistic personality disorder comes from, where these people who are so enamored and so enwrapped with themselves that they then covet those who resemble them so much, like the offspring that they produce. And I remember reading this story about this young lady whose, I believe her mother had passed away, and the father was just like enamored with his daughters, and he was so in love with himself that he felt that his seed should be passed into his seed, and that his seed should not get the seed elsewhere. And so he impregnated like his daughters, and it's like this really weird situation where the daughter, who now despises her father for the abuse, has a child from him, or multiple children. This story came out many years ago. It was about this Muslim dude, black American Muslim dude. I believe they're in New York as well. And it was just like, we really don't know where people's head is at, because it's like the father in that situation, he was just so egotistical, so narcissistic, that he was in love with the fruit of his own loin, because it was a part of him that he then went to re-enter back into that part of him. And the weird part about it is that he had exhibited behaviors to the public that he in his warped mind thought were normal. You know, so it's like, we really don't know where a person's head is at. A person could be saying a thing because it's, one, really, really innocent. Or they could be saying a thing because, two, it's just so, like, yeah, of course. Of course I would feel this way, because it's so common to them. So it comes so normally to them in their own minds that they don't realize that, no, the rest of society does not think this way. So on this, I can't call it. I'm not going to speculate about things that I don't know. I can really only speak about what it is that we've been presented. And I've shown you what we've been presented. You can send me some more information if you so choose. Drop your comments below. And again, special thank you to everyone who has gotten my book, The Book of Affirmation Self-Love, which is available right now on Amazon. It's also available on my website. It is an affirmations book. where you merely rewrite the affirmations. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and these affirmations rewire your subconscious programming. I wish, you know what? There are reviews on my website. There are reviews on Amazon. People's lives are changing. Really, really changing. People are losing weight, falling in love. They're finally opening themselves up to the life that they know that they deserve. Me personally, since I've got the book in hand and have been writing it out, I've been making more money, opening myself up to the abundance that lay out there, because sometimes we can self-sabotage. And in many ways, I was self-sabotage financially, monetarily. So I don't suffer from a lot of the other forms of self-abuse that others may suffer from. My form of self-abuse comes in another way, in terms of self-sabotage and not allowing myself to really flourish financially. And even me, I've been allowing the abundance to come in. And as you know, this book is going to be in luxury spas and hotels across the United States. So I'm really excited about that. Check my Instagram for when that's going to start rolling out. This is in a few weeks it's going to start rolling out, so check my Instagram for that. So listen, thank you all for getting this book. Thank you for helping it rise up the bestseller list on Amazon, and I'll see you all in the next video. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? Love yourself. Love yourself, yes. And part of loving yourself is I would say, in an instance like this, because the overall theme that I'm seeing are people wanting to shut other people up for having a different idea. Part of loving yourself is challenging your current or old beliefs. What's the harm in challenging, in having a conversation, being open to hearing another person's point of view? Love yourself enough to realize that if you knew everything already, if there was no need for you to improve in any way, then what's the purpose? What are you doing here? What's the point? If you are the best that you will ever be, then I guess it's only downhill from here. But if you know that you can still learn more, still get better, still fine tune, and get closer to truth, as well as allow people to speak their truth and tell their story and hold space for them without judgment. All I'm doing is presenting the question. And if that's triggering for you, then that's something that you're going to have to look inside of you to figure out. And on that note, I will see you all in the next video. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Peace.